So there is a guy named Pretty Ricky 213 who's on Twitter right now. He claims to be an insider. I don't know who he is, but
he's on Twitter.
It says the Raiders are a team interested in trading for Brandon Aiyuk, according to a rumor. Aiyuk knows Antonio Pierce from his days at ASU. Yep. And here's the fun part. The Raiders would send Devante Adams to the Niners in any trade. Devante has no real money on his deal after this season. All right. So if you're telling me that the way that this ends is the 49ers have traded Brandon Aiyuk to the Raiders for Devante Adams, okay, do that. Yeah, sure. That would be and everything ended really well. Sure. Go ahead and do that.
I don't know about that. You just gave away 5 years of a receiver. I mean, you just traded a 26-year-old receiver for a 31 going on 32-year-old receiver.
Right, but if you're not going to do business with a 26-year-old, and if you're not going to retain him, and if he's going to go anyways, and you need snaps on the season back, who could give you better snaps at the position that he just vacated than Devante Adams, who is
I hear you. I'm just saying that would not be my first choice.
If I could get Brandon Aiyuk and strap him in with a Clockwork Orange situation where his eyes are held open by a claw like this, and he's strapped into the chair, you know what I would show him? I would show him highlights of Devante Adams from
crushed.
From the receiver thing. Look at how frustrated. Devante Adams has all the money anyone in the world could ever want. Devante Adams has a level of generational wealth built into his family tree, which means his great-grandchildren ain't eating SpaghettiOs. He's miserable. He is miserable. Every minute of the receiver, Devante Adams is fucking miserable.
But if your stated goal is to take care of your family, and you're making the most money.
Here's the thing, Larry.
You're living in Vegas. Larry, you got a better tax situation.
Larry, are you making $14.5 million a year? The answer is no, and you're taking care of your family. You can take care of your family for $14.5 million. If $14.5 million were the final paychecks you ever collected in your life, you could stretch out $14.5 million after agent, after taxes, after California. Your $14.5 million is now down to $7 million. You could live really well on $7 million between now and the day you die.
You're living better on 30.
Sure you are. But here's the thing.
And we can play this game forever. You're totally right. I mean, Spreewell, I need to, I can't feed my family on 12 mil.
Part of being an athlete is being happy where you are and winning. And in football, maybe more than any other sport, there is no joy in a losing game. There is none to be found. Well, you had a really good day while the team around you lost. You don't go home happy. You don't go home. Brent,
I'll tell you, that's intriguing to me. The Devante thing's intriguing though, because he wants out, and the Raiders' other receivers outside of Devante Adams are Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, Michael Gallup. And after that, it ain't really worth even naming these guys because nobody knows these guys. So they got nothing at receiver outside of Devante. So if they came and said, "No, I'm not taking Devante straight up for Aiyuk," especially not when Aiyuk's 26. But let's just say the Raiders came and knocked on the door and said, "We will give you Devante Adams and Michael Mayer, the Notre Dame tight end. Now we drafted Brock Bowers. We don't need Michael Mayer anymore. So we'll give you Michael Mayer and Devante Adams for Aiyuk." Would you do it? And I would do that.
At the speed of light, I'd drive Aiyuk to the airport for that deal. I mean,
I would absolutely do that. And then if the Jets are that hardcore about getting Devante Adams, and it sounds like they really are, I'd turn around and try to make a good deal with the Jets for, Devante Adams. Here's because the Niners don't really need a receiver. They've got a lot of receivers. What they need is another corner, another safety, another offensive tackle, another defensive tackle. They have some other needs. They could flip Devante to the Jets for either draft picks, or you could, once again, Malachi Corley or something. I don't know. But you could flip Devante to the Jets if you wanted to for picks and get Michael Mayer and send Aiyuk to the Raiders. I mean, that would be not bad. I mean, it depends how good you think Michael Mayer is. I think Michael Mayer is going to be a really good young tight end.
I would rather try to win a Super Bowl this year with Devante Adams as a wide receiver than Michael Mayer in a draft pick in the future. I mean, like, I will take Devante Adams.
You could do it that way if you wanted to, but what if you get to camp and suddenly Pearsall and Cowing look great and Debo's in great shape, and now you've got all these receivers? Well, but I'm just saying, the Raiders badly, the Jets supposedly badly want to reunite Devante Adams and Rodgers, and I would make that happen for them, but I want to get, I want compensation on my end too. So I don't know what I want. Maybe I want Michael Clemens. Maybe I want Jermaine Johnson. Maybe I want Will McDonald IV. Maybe I want, an offensive lineman, Elijah Vera Tucker or something. I mean, I want some piece or picks, but at least then you're getting Michael Mayer and Devante, and you're getting pick. You could turn Devante into picks if you wanted to, or you could just roll with Devante. For a year, just say, hey, you know what? We're going to try to win the Super Bowl with Devante, and he's a damn good receiver. He's very dependable. Purdy to Devante may be epic. You never know, but that's what I would do. I definitely would rather move off of Aiyuk for a trade that we debated how good it was than sit there and wait for him to come in, because the one thing that you absolutely cannot have happen is you cannot have him hold out and show up only to accrue the year. If that will do your team damage, it will hurt your chances of winning the Super Bowl. It will make your locker room a uglier place to be.
Well, and let's be honest, it also really damages Aiyuk's reputation too. There's damage on both sides of that, of the body of that car. There is. Brandon Aiyuk would severely damage his reputation, not in the eyes of every general manager, but in the eyes of some general managers. They just be like, man, I'm trading for a guy and acquiring a guy and going to give him $30 million to someone who's cool with just sitting out in their prime in a Super Bowl window. Like that doesn't jive to a lot of general managers. So that would do damage to Brandon Aiyuk's reputation. And again, Brandon Aiyuk has no damage on his reputation, but for this moment, he has been a quiet, hardworking, healthy, productive, all-pro NFL receiver. He's done nothing up to this offseason to rub anybody the wrong way. Nothing. The guy's a consummate pro. And it just sucks that this has reached this moment. And again, the only way this moment wasn't reached is if you paid him or traded him, and the Niners have done none. So here we are standing on the same freaking balance beam for a couple of months talking about the same thing. And the only thing that is different is we now have an official trade request, which officially kind of also means nothing too.